humans have always been gay, humans have always been queer, humans have always been transgender, might not have always had the words for it, but we are as old as the earth itself, and that's pretty special. My name is Rowan Raskin. I am an oil painter, aspiring taxidermist, sometimes a gardener, and a co-op member at Malt here in Malden, Massachusetts. Born in Seattle, grew up in Scottsdale, Arizona, where I hated it. I hated the desert. I hated the heat, the desert, and cowboys and all things that came with it. It was hard to be a queer transgender kid growing up there. But upon leaving Arizona and leaving the desert, I've been able to reconnect with that history and with queer culture. Cowboy history is very much queer history. As much as mainstream media would have you try and think otherwise. A big thing for me was learning about the annual gay rodeo. It's just like fun. I mean, there's drag queens. Who doesn't love drag queens and kings? It's really, really great. It makes so much sense that cowboys were, indigenous, Black, people of various backgrounds and genders and sexualities, because where else but out on the plains and the fringes of society could these people live their truth, live their lives. The hanky code, the handkerchief code, it was a practice started in the late 19th century by cowboys and other laborers, miners, all that sort of stuff. It was a covert system of communication used primarily by gay men, but it is now used by sort of like the wider BDSM queer communities. And it's a way to signal using your pockets and your handkerchief of various colors what you're looking for in a sexual partner. So it was a way to safely communicate to other queer people. So I like to document that history, and it's also pretty cool because that history is still alive and well. I feel a kinship with roadkill, which I know is like a weird thing to say, but I think particularly like for transgender people of color, that a lot of the time is the experience. You are something gross pushed off to the side of the road, something that society doesn't want to look at, doesn't want to acknowledge. It's important for me to look at the things that make me uncomfortable. This creature was actually photographed by one of my closest childhood friends. His name is Orion. He found this rotting carcass as he went for a walk, and I asked him, I said, "Can I paint this?" And he was like, "Oh my God, please." All of this was sort of happening around the time that news was coming out, news was breaking about the death of Nex Benedict, who is a very, very young, non-binary indigenous child in Oklahoma, who passed away under suspicious circumstances. And so I see a lot of these paintings specifically of like roadkill, of dead animals and things. They're a way for me to not only explore these difficult, complicated emotions, this rage, this fear, that I have, but also a way to treat that subject with like love and compassion. I hope somebody someday will be as kind to me and my rotting corpse as I hope to be for these creatures. Resistance should be joyful, I think. Or at least you gotta find the joy in it. You can't only have joyful resistance, but that being said, joyful resistance is really, really important to keep moving forward, because it is so easy to get burnt out, like through protest action, through mutual aid. We do this so that we can come together and share a meal and dance and laugh and do all the things that we all as humans should have a right to do. And so for me, like I said, that is this queer line dancing. That is this queer dance community. Because I think dancing is a very innate human thing. I think with everything I do, I want to create an opportunity for compassion and connection. That's always been what my art has been, I think. It's a way for me to process these dark feelings and fears and emotions, but then also a way to create connection and compassion between like the artist, me, and the viewer. Intention doesn't really matter at the end of the day. What matters is the dialogue that's sparked between that moment. And I think that's a beautiful thing worth cherishing.